Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad, I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person anymore. And I miss him. Because sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just, I hate that. I'm scared of it.
It would be awesome to, be being a great war. Maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go. Way
I have to put the joke.
No. Hey, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Shocking weekend in the sport of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, breaking it down like it is, like it should be. The crew, fantastic amigos, EnVivo, the boxing Manny Marrero.
Shola Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper. Ya lo sabes. Oye, coming back with our awesome recap today. What a night of boxing. Shocking, as I stated earlier. I mean, that's all I can say for the moment.
Absolutely, man. It was a great night of boxing. I mean, we had some exciting fights to talk about. I mean, energy, big things that changed, and talk about paradigm shift within the sport. So a major shift as far as boxing concerned, as far as a huge upset. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's not ignore the lead story, as Hopper would say. So
don't bury the lead, bro.
Don't bury that lead.
Don't bury that.
We don't want to bury opportunities like Kambosos showed us all that, hey, never underestimate the heart of a champion. What's your thoughts right now as we glow in the bask of a great night of boxing? What's your thoughts on that fight going with Teofimo versus Kambosos? What's your initial thoughts and how do you feel now?
Man, what a night. We all picked Teofimo Lopez to win, right? But we didn't expect him to go out there and engaging like that right off the bat in the first round. Very amateurish, very unpredictable. We picked Teofimo Lopez because of his boxing ability, his calmness, the way he can go about executing a game plan. And yesterday, he just didn't have that. He didn't have a game plan. Started off real just amateurs. I mean, there's no other word for it. Got rocked towards the end of it because of it. Andele, toma. And Kambosos, all credit to Kambosos. He meant it at the weigh-ins. You could tell the look in his eyes. He was ready. He wanted it. And that's what it comes down to a lot of these times is who's hungry and who's not. Teofimo now is going to be rightfully criticized about going to all these events, showing up with Canelo and all the belts. Was he training seriously? I mean, that's a question you have to ask yourself. And it's but at the same time, you can't discredit Kambosos because he was ready. He had a game plan. He stuck with it. The overhand right found its home often, busted Teofimo up, and was letting him know too at the end of each round, laughing and mocking him. Great fight. Shout out to Kambosos and Centeno's boxing gym. Couldn't have done it any better. And thankfully the judges gave it to the right person.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I was definitely impressed with that. The thing that stood out to me most, because I was going into being hopeful that it would be. I never want to end too quickly, right? I know that Teofimo want to go in there and make a statement. So I kept on saying, I know Kambosos had a lot of heart, and I was really impressed with just how confident this guy was, overly confident, almost like the word he's used as far as describing Teofimo. I felt with him as far as I felt he might have delusion as far as his confidence, but no, delusion was on me. Manny, what's your thoughts after the fight? How do you feel about just the fight in general? What's your overall feeling now at this point?
Well, I mean, I wanna kind of quote something the Copper said. We all picked Teofimo because of his skills and all that. That's part of it. But I think at my point, and I'm guilty of this, is that I fell into the whole fake over trap. That's my perspective. I'm sorry. I have never been bullish on Teofimo Lopez. I, from the get-go, I've stated that he is a lot of problem, a lot of trouble, and that's what it was. This is a problem child, a child that his father has trying to develop him in something that he wants him to be. It just kind of reminds me a little bit like a Tiger Woods and his father as well, right? Amazing talent, but I want to build him up this way. Regardless of if it's the good way or the bad way, this is the way I want to do it. Whether it's disrespecting people, whether it is actually, doing the things that they do inside and outside the ring. There's no doubt in my mind that Teofimo has some kind of talent, but he is not that committed individual in where he can take the fame and he can live with the fame a couple of weeks and then part ways with the fame. No, he wants to live with fame at all times. And that is something that it just doesn't work. You're going to start slipping. We've seen Andy Ruiz doing it as well, coming back again. And then, look what happened against Anthony Joshua. And then, and now you're into Teofimo Lopez. And then, the way their surroundings, the way his father acted throughout this whole training camp, throughout the media, throughout the press, it was very disrespectful. And I hate that. I hate for the fact that, look at Josue Vargas, what happened with his brothers in Entourage. You got to get a stop to these nonsense behavior. And also to those fans that being attracted to this, that is a no-no. And for some reason, I got caught up in that bullshit as well. And I'm going to be frankly, we even put it in the top number one, under 25, Teofimo number 1, because I think we were believing the hype. But the reality is you have another opponent that, since the get-go, he's been focused. He came out of the ring real focused, on in the zone, right? And something that Teofimo was just more of about the fame, more about who I am. He looked great. He looked great in shape. Now everything's shifted because now I should have not fought in the zone. I should have just stayed to top ranks, or now is the weight. We couldn't make 135. We should have just dumped 135 and go up. See, all these excuses that makes no sense. And even after losing the fight, being able to disrespect over and over and over Kambosos just because your ego, just because now you don't have anything to combat to say about all the trash talking that you did. Look what happened to you. You got annihilated. You got destroyed. And they did it in a way, as humble as he's going to be. They did it in a way with a good strategy behind a great training camp, a great coach in Javier Centeno. Listen, this little stable is growing. They have a lot of people out there, a lot of great stars. Even Frank Gore's out there training with them. And they have some great individuals that complement what a superstar boxing gym needs. Like, look at the Reynoso. I'm not trying to compare one to another, but look what they've done right now. They have an unified 35 pounder in Kambosos, and this is good. This is good stuff. And I believe that Teo nor his father let them enjoy the moment, or they're bashing them with all kinds of trash and excuses, and then come back and say that he won 10-2. Delusional. I think I hit a lot. I barely gave him 4 rounds just because a couple of rounds at the end of the round, and I think it was like round number 5 or something like that, he came out with good combinations, and I knew the judges were going to give him that close round, but they honestly.
All right. So, yeah, definitely a lot of some key things there. The father played a big part, and I think a lot of things that were kind of glaring. It's one thing to, be the promoter and talk boastfully about your son. But to me, what was really glaring things that I took away is, one, how little his dad had to offer. That's not even being disrespectful.
Nothing.
In the corner, he had nothing to offer at all. And then the next thing that stood out to me, another big takeaway as far as what we witnessed, is that, look, we can say what we want. And yeah, I'm not ashamed that I had Teofimo because he's a talented, skilled guy. And like Hopper said, he's a great boxer as far as his skill set. The execution wasn't there. Could you guys believe there was no plan B? That still kind of shocks me.
There was the only plan that was there was plan A, was knocking him out.
Right.
Knocking him out in the first round.
And then also, if you touch on it a little more, is that the reason we can prove that they didn't have a game plan was because of the instructions of the corner. When Teofimo Sr. was telling him, what was his, the majority of his game plan was you gotta knock him out, bro. You gotta knock that motherfucker out, or something of that nature. It was all that was pretty much
He's getting tired.
That's what
See
their
how you
advice
got him.
was.
He
That was
got
their
it.
game plan. Hey, bro, knock him out, bro. All right, yeah, I got it, bro.
Oh yeah, don't forget he told me won every round too. That's important as well.
Yeah, and then so that's that
then-
plays
and
a
then-
big part of it too. And then I kind of want to, man, you touched on it a little bit that he's not focused. He compared him to Andy Reese. But what does it say about the guys? How many minutes are we in? 10 minutes into it? All right, I gotta sneak it in there. What does it say about the top guys that reach the top level and stay focused and stay hungry, getting those big paydays? Like a one CANELO. Just throwing it out there. Oh, look at that, 11 minutes. We had 11 minutes on the show.
No, I mean, I think you're right, and that's the difference, and that's something that I'm not buying into that, and I'm not going to be able to buy into anymore, and I'm going to from now on, man, I'm going to follow my instincts, and I'm going to follow the way that I feel, and I've always felt about that, not disrespecting any boxers of what they do. And listen, I know they're probably not listening to this, or if even they come across this, yeah, Mr. Lopez, this is BS crap, you know what I mean? You have to come down to your senses, and you have to understand that, listen, there was something that didn't happen last night, and this is all you guys to blame. The 3 judges were from New York. What more do you want? I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand. Now they're trying to point fingers at everyone else with taking the credit out to Kambosos. And this is how humble this little stable is. Even when Kambosos was trying to invite him, let's do it, in Australia, which, by the way, I can guarantee you, he will put 80,000 plus people out there in Australia. He is the cash cow of Australia. And right now, the unified champion, I tell you what, they're going to fill that stadium up. But, and he's actually disrespecting him. And him speak, not caring less. I won the fight in front of him, and then here Javier Centeno. I didn't really catch her, the what he actually spoke about. It was more like, just, not worth it. Like, not worth it. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy what you currently are going through, because this is you rocked the world, and they did it with a game plan. Hopper talked about it. Listen, that double job, we need to see it. I was concerned with Kambosos wanting to really show his talent, showcase himself, and bringing excitement to the Hulu Center in Madison Square Garden. Come on, this is top league, and Teofimo has promoted himself that he'll be the next, bigger than Cotto in MSG. There you go. That's for talking that trash ahead of the game. But you know what? He wanted to really showcase and brawl with him, and he actually took some heavy shots that almost took away the fight. But you know what?
Him in the 10th
game plan, yeah. Keep that double jab, keep that right overhand right. Landing in it. Even the uppercut. So brilliant move by sticking to the plan and giving us excitement last night. Like I said, I gave the fight. We talked about it. We predicted Teo to win this fight. But since the beginning, man, it was one of those things. I can care less about my prediction. Let's go, Kambosos.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well said. I never care about my predictions because it's usually wrong. So, but one thing that's not wrong is the people that are in the chat and that have shouted us out, and the people that are watching. Thank you guys so much. Some comments we got. Aaron from Standing 8 Podcast in the chat. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, brother.
Yes, he's Australian now. Shout out. He's Australian now for sure. Aaron also says that Lopez Sr. Just F him up. That was actually my favorite line of the entire night. I know I say that whenever I can. Teofimo fought like Wilder, just looking for the knockout. That's very accurate. That's actually very accurate. That's not a overstatement.
Kind of like the same windmill punches.
yeah, definitely. Clarence McLean, the hardest working man on YouTube. Shout out to that man. No Duck Podcast.
On live, watch out, not alive.
Long live, salute, my brother. Absolutely, salute to you. Puerto Rican rum. Salute, gentlemen. Salute to you, sir. Stephen also said Teofimo's dad gave Angel Garcia advice too. Damn. All right. So Aaron liked that one, laugh his ass off. All right. So Stephen also said, now that they got their asses back to Uncle Bob.
And right there, and I want to expand on that point by Stephen. Good point, Stephen.
Good point.
What does this say about Eddie Hearn and the shrewdness of his positioning himself to take this fight away from Top Rank? I believe it went to purse bid. Triller won it. The zone matchroom, Eddie Hearn, they were second. Triller defaulted, so it went to Eddie. And I kind of I'm glad you brought that up, Stephen, because what is this? Why boxers don't want to go away from their promotional company, because this Teofimo didn't have the backing of Top Rank, so these judges were going to be neutral. You know, going if this is a Top Rank promotion, do you think Kambosos gets the nod
in New York?
But see, that's the problem, though. That's the thing.
Right?
That needs
No, but
to
then
stop.
that's the thing.
One of my postings last night was about that.
It would have.
Boxing's gonna.
The fact that I'm sorry, man, just real quick. The fact that you proposed that question and we have to stop and think about it, that says it all right there. Go ahead.
Right. Listen, if this is a Top Rank production, or close to this fight, do they give Kambosos the card, the draw, the result? I mean.
It'd be a draw.
You know,
right?
I probably would be a draw because of that.
The way he keeps the belts.
And then,
yeah, exactly.
This credit goes to Eddie Hearn. He put himself in position to maintain everything in as neutral as possible. He won, and now DAZN and Matchroom have the belts to come away from Bob Arum. You know he was pissed off last night, and like Steven says, now they got to go back to Uncle Bob. Tail tucked between the legs.
Well, I mean, that's the right thing. That's the right now. I mean, you know, all these stuff they bashed, you know, Arum and everything in the past about not giving them money. First of all, Bob didn't really bid. He wasn't a high bidder on this thing. So he definitely doesn't want part of putting a lot of money. All he wants is take that, you know, 15-20% from Teofimo. That's all he cared about. And that's how he's doing business. That's how he's making money. He's not all about putting everything out there. And I think this is for the good of the sport, that this decision went to the person who really won the fight. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that he worked it right. He won the fight. He clearly won the fight. Anything under a win was going to really hurt the sport, and a sport that has already a lot of injuries, and you don't want to keep adding pain to that injury, because we're finally establishing ourselves into like getting some of the fights we want to see. And now that things are happening, now the telenovela from the 135 took a different twist, right? We've always talked about this whole 135, and now finally, I mean, now the whole media, it's about, I want this. F you, go Kambosos, do whatever you want right now. You know, don't try to cherry pick that you want to try to fight the guy, because nobody want to fight Teofimo before that. But man, I mean,
no, I mean, some humiliated for sure. I mean, it definitely shook out 135, which needs some shaking up. Let's get some more quick shout outs, and then we'll get into what do you think that's going to happen next for the fighters? What do you realistically predict is going to happen, and what would you like to happen? So shout out to my brother Chicano Prophet in the house. Salute to EnVivo crew. Salute to you, brother. Much love on that. Yep, hard to stay on top. Very true in all phases of life. Kano Loco Sports, the man at work, but keep up the good work. Hey, much love to you, brother. Grinding out there as always. Definitely check out his channel. Check out both their channels. Great content they put out there. Chicano says salute. Oh wait, he also said called that Kambosos was a live dog. Yeah, that's true. He did. Yeah, he did. Kano's he's always ready, man. He's always ready. Always ready. Chicano Prophet, I had a feeling since he had a great trainer with great training at the gym. He is at with Xander. And going to stop there real quick, because I know with ACP, they like talking about the Hispanic causing panic of the week. I know we're going to talk about that fight in a little bit as far as, Brandon Figueroa, the heartbreaker, but I'm going to go ahead and nominate mine, and I'm going to say Coach Centeno is ACP, Hispanic causing panic of the week. What a game plan. Not only did he have, Kambosos ready after an 11th month announcement of the fight and kept going in and out, but remained focused, had an amazing game plan. And talk about a contrast of styles. When you heard Coach Centeno in the corner, it was like real calm, zen-like, take a deep breath.
Sean,
very
the
clear.
Way a true coach should coach your boxer.
Right. No, definitely. So knowing that, and then also too, because we've been saying that, for years now, that gym has excellent sparring. So, they had good competition there with Xander and the crew that Coach Centeno. So shout out to Coach Centeno. And I also know that he had had another fighter on the card. Christina was also well. Yeah. So
Puerto Rico in the house.
Yeah. So
definitely doing big things
I
there.
guess, and to touch on what Cano said, you always want to take the hard worker over talent, right? I mean, the talented guy that doesn't work hard against the guys whose maybe skills aren't as sharp, but works extremely hard. And you can tell Kambosos.
One detail that I never really believed, and I know that, even Clarissa was talking about it yesterday, and then the commentators were saying that the many times that this fight was actually postponed and moved, when you're on training camp, you have a rhythm, and then you stop because now you're into the fight, the weight in, and it's just all kind of like a process that you kind of go through. To stop that and cancel and changing, it kind of messes things up. And honestly, I didn't see that in Kambosos. To the contrary, I think it really benefit Kambosos to really go back at it and say, let me keep grinding, let me keep working, let me build my confidence. I can do this. As the press conferences start coming in, he didn't took any other crap. All the face-off were like he like really out there looking and focusing, not at what's going outside, but what he can do. And then let the clowns do whatever they do on the outside. He just remained focused. And I think that focus, it all funnels down to what you were talking about, Sean. Stable, the gym, Javier Centeno.
Yeah, you have to have a stabilizing force. And, it's not just even about dogpiling, just bashing, the Teofimo Lopez in the family. But to me, what really stood out is just how it kind of unraveled. Like they just said more demonstrative, crazy, delusional type things. It was really kind of hard to watch, especially now seeing how it all kind of played out and how in the corner his dad brought Teofimo nothing at all, and how he just had a one-dimensional, game plan as far as just going to go for the knockout. He punched himself in that 10th round, which, it looked like he was going to maybe take out Kambosos, but he didn't. And, then we saw the results. So let's kind of go into it right now. With all that being said, what's next for Teofimo? So, Hopper, what's your thoughts on that? What's next for Teofimo now?
Well, I think the whispers are, and by the people that are there, Teofimo is really struggling to make 135 now. I mean, he's always struggled, but now it's gotten to a point that where maybe consideration of 140 pounds should be taken seriously. And there's a pathway there for Top Rank to get their hands on, or if he goes, when he goes back to Top Rank, to get their hands on a belt if Josh Taylor vacates, decides to move up. If he decides to move up and vacates the belt, something will come open for Teofimo Lopez, I'm sure, if he moves on up to 140. If Josh Taylor stays there, I mean, that'd be a mega fight right there. Josh Taylor against Teofimo Lopez. Maybe Teofimo would probably take a fight to get accustomed to 140 pounds and then shoot for Josh Taylor if it's possible. Or that would probably be the next best thing for me, or the best thing is to maybe either set up a fight with Josh Taylor or move up to 140 pounds and recreate your career. Because 135, that's unless you get the rematch,
right? Which, again, this was.
He didn't sound too interested.
Yeah, he didn't sound too interested, and there was no rematch. It's on the card.
Clause, yeah.
There was no rematch clause. Manny, what's your thoughts as far as what's next for Teofimo?
I mean, it's just this family needs to really sit back and analyze and see, okay, what happened? What did we do wrong? They have to they have to say that they're guilty and this is our fault. Until they admit that, they're just going to continue to be dysfunctional inside and outside the ring. To your question, I mean, listen, fight like that to become a better champion. I remember Danny Garcia and his father, exactly the same, father and son, trash talking, bashing. 2017 against Keith Thurman, right? He gets beat by Keith Thurman. What happened to his father and Danny? They kind of toned it down. They came back afterwards, a little bit more humble. They started grinding a lot. He fought Brandon
Danny was
Rose.
solid, though. Danny was always solid. But
his father is the one that did all the
trash.
Of
course.
And so it's kind of happening the same way. And remember when I felt earlier that I believe that Teofimo Senior, Lopez Senior, Teofimo's dad, wanted to build this his own son the way he wants to. He needs to really part ways for him to be successful. He can go up into the 140 pounds. You guys said something, that makes sense. He wanted no part of that, whether he was embarrassed, whether he had no words, whether it's the only words that you have to tell the public is just to continue to disrespect others and say that I won the fight. You know what? Nothing's really going to happen until you go back, lock yourself in, and say, what will be next for me? What would I want to see Lopez do? I want him to come back. I want him to really get his shit going. and start applying all that trash talking, do it in the gym. And if he moves up to 140, which is likely what's going to happen, there's a boatload of fighters out there that are willing and able to give him a chance. I think a tune-up in the 140 will be right now the ideal thing. So like my brother Hopper said, to get kind of that rhythm of the little bit weighter class, I think he's making it difficult to make the weight, right? A lot of people saw him that he was like too high, dehydrated.
Very dehydrated.
He didn't recover well. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but as someone that knows and understands a little bit of boxing and knows how difficult it is to make weight at times, that takes a toll. And if that's the case, we wish him to move up the 140, and explore a new career and completely forget about what happened in the fives. You know what? I would love to see Tank Davis and Teofimo Lopez at 140.
140.
Get that WBA. What is it? The regular WBA
aluminum
from Mario Barrios.
Oh no, they got rid of the aluminum belt. Now
they
got rid of it.
But go out there and say, okay, you want to continue the drama. You're going to really prove yourself against other champions. There you go. 140. Josh Taylor, Tank Davis. Hey, there's a lot of possibilities at the 140 pounds. I just hope he can recover, come back. But hey, come back humble. We don't want to see this trash talking BS crap for him. We want to see his talent. We want him to fucking talk the talk and walk the walk.
All right, good stuff there, brother. So let's get to some comments real quick. Then we go to our next topic, which is the thoughts on El Fuego fight. That is Figueroa versus Fulton. So these comments from Stephen Ruiz. Thank you, sir. Does his power, that being Teofimo, move up with him at 140 when he couldn't knock out Kambosos at 135? Again, Kambosos' chin was extremely underrated. Like I had no
I think he took a well-trained Kamboso. He could have knocked him out pretty good. I think the training and that extra time that I talked about was the difference maker, Stephen, of what you're talking about, right? But can he translate that into the 140 if he commit? Absolutely. Look how he came out at a beast at the first round. Like, this is going to be done.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know what?
I agree with Manny. That's rare.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I agree with Manny. I think if he dedicates himself, that's the key word right there. If he dedicates himself to actually training, being hungry again and sticking to a game plan and not just coming out and showing him what you're going to do and when it's easy to avoid. Yeah, of course. I think, of course, Teofimo Lopez power can carry with him if he's dedicated to it.
Yeah, if he's dedicated to it. So I think just last thing before we close out on Teofimo Lopez, Kambosos, I think, definitely the future extremely bright. He's got a huge country backing. He's got, pretty much all the belts right now, a boatload of confidence, an amazing team. Peter Kahn's his manager. I mean, he's in a great position right now. Shout out to him. So I think he's going to make a wise decision. One thing that I like that he keeps saying, he said, my next fight is he's been the road warrior.
Oh, he's going to be Australia.
The next fight is going to be in Australia, point blank.
That's no doubt. That's
on the zone.
In the zone. Whoever he fights.
And on the zone. Why not? He deserves it.
80,000 people. It's going to be on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
That's when Zoo fights.
Yeah. So
I mean, if you think about it, before Kambosos, Jeff Horn. So this is huge for us.
Tim Zoo right now is also a mega draw.
Well, Zoo's a big draw right now, and man, put them on the same card.
Wow,
they support their guy. Wow.
Hey, you think there's a chance we travel those, Australia?
No, I don't think that's a country I want to be in, man. I've seen the memes. I think they have spiders that are eat your dogs or something like that. The kangaroos will take you to the lakes and drown you.
Teofimo Lopez, what I'll go ahead and say is that I do believe he needs to move up, take a tune-up fight. I don't think Josh Taylor or anybody noteworthy would really be interested in that fight. There's bigger names that they could go and get more money for that fight. And then one thing that, I'll say respectfully and kind of goes to the comment that Stephen put here, because Stephen also put another comment that lots of father-son teams down bad porters, Garcia, Lopez, Josue Vargas, too hard and not feel like your son is always winning. What I'll say on that, as far as, kind of coincide what I was going to say as well, is that with the one-dimensional performance I saw and how winded and how the nutrition wasn't there and, just the overall preparation wasn't normally that we see out of a Teofimo Lopez, I'll say right now that if there's not an actual implementation, which I know would be difficult, of a new trainer, he keeps staying with the dad, which I believe he will. I really don't see Teofimo going back to that level he got before. I just think that if he doesn't,
what a hater.
No, if he stays at 135
Wow.
and he doesn't get a new trainer, he just stays with his dad.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it is kind of hating. All right, enough about me.
No,
So
Gringo.
you think that because of
Next
the
topic.
whole,
Hold on.
do you guys think because of the whole, all the way that Teofimo handled things and the trash talking and all that, do you feel like for Josh Taylor that he's in a different position and he has sole control of his career, whether they want to stay move up to 147? Do you think Josh Taylor's decision to stay and fight Teofimo, that could go away because of the fact of like the Lopez, and I don't want to be part of that kind of crap? That's something.
I think as long as they get paid, I think if
I
the
think Josh
money
Taylor's a smart guy, and he's going to go for the big payday. He even put a tweet out there where he's like, don't kick a dog when it's down. Like so.
Yeah. So,
why would you? Oh yeah, let me go ahead and fight Teofimo after he's lost, after he's been dejected, and clearly he's looking pathetic on TV, with his broken nose, crying about 10-2. So
busted eyeball.
Yeah, what does that really prove for Josh Taylor? He's not bringing any belts where you can fight somebody else, right? And get more money.
Good point, Gringo.
Yeah, get more money, and you can also get the accolades. I think the father being a jackass has nothing to do with it in this situation. Yeah. Now,
well, before you move on, Gringo, let me touch on the undercard because we had some pretty good fights on the undercard.
Yeah, definitely,
as well.
Please.
Big Bang Zhang. The Chinese heavyweight crushed Craig Lewis in 2 rounds. That was
He's
that was a good one. That's a big boy, 274 pounds.
Yeah, I was disappointed by Lewis performance.
He was disappointed
but I think
too, sir.
The issues. Yeah,
once he was crushed by this
big time, but I was expecting a little bit more. But you can see the caliber.
You had money on it, didn't you?
You had money on Craig Lewis. Oh man, no, yeah. Hey, I'm gonna keep my eye on this guy every time he fights in the undercard. I'm gonna be watching.
Yeah.
We saw him last time. I forgot the card that we saw him, but he didn't look that great.
He looked great last night. He looked
good last night.
Phenomenal. And then our boy, we gotta bring it up. Felix Caraballo. He was stopped by Raymond Felton.
He had some moments.
Raymond Felton looked good. Very fast. Very slick. Very great.
This Raymond Ford, it's no joke. And I mean, there's another kid out there. His name is Kid Austin. He's another top of future prospects in the game. But Raymond Ford just show why he's in the game. I think
I said Felton. That's the best power,
but the speed and the lateral.
I know what you meant.
What's that?
No, I said Felton. I said Raymond Felton. That's the NBA guy. Raymond Ford.
Raymond Ford. I think that his speed and the movements. I mean, he's out there for major big fights, and I think that Felix had some great moments. I think he also did parted ways with his game plan. He didn't have a lot of head movements, and I think that a lot talked about it in a tweet today, saying that, hey, I told him to do this, I told him to do that. He kind of did and had some good moments. He parted ways with the game plan. He reminded him of that, and then after that, when there was nothing on the line, because obviously his power punches were not actually the same. He actually was the one that actually sent to stop the fight, and he was proud about what he did. Why not? I think Felix has got a great career.
No, and Felix was upset that the ref stopped it. And
no, it was his trainer.
I think his trainer stopped it. But
yeah, Luis.
According
to what he said, he had stopped the fight. Because honestly, he didn't see anything progressing on La Sombra. He was doing great, catching him up with the body punches on the ropes. But it wasn't anything that you can say is going to hurt him eventually to try to win the fight. So why?
No, Raymond was just too sharp for
that his power is less. He's losing power, right? And this kid's just he came in that round like you saw his coach. When the kid was in the corner, he said, "This is the round. You got to give it to me." I was like, "Whoa, that's the round." They stopped it. Yeah.
No, this was like Caraballo was just. I mean, there's no shame losing a guy as skillful as Raymond Ford. I mean, that guy's. He's one to watch as well. So the zone and Matchroom, they have some talented young guys on the rise. And then in the co-main event, that was a banger itself. The new IBF junior lightweight from Japan, Kenichi Ogawa defeated the South African Azingu Fazili, and what a fight! Those Japanese guys, man, they come across you very powerful guys who never quit. And in the first 4 rounds were pretty even 2-2, but in that 5th round.
Get another gear.
Ogawa caught him. Ogawa caught him clean, and stunned him, and he took a knee. If he doesn't take a knee, I think
he's gone. He knew it.
The fight ends right there.
Yep.
And
even in the last round too. If he doesn't,
he
really
dropped
go
him
up there and
twice.
take
He took that knee and he was cut. He was at that point. Yeah, maybe I do feel maybe that fight should have probably been stopped. Maybe
you want a fight to be stopped?
It was
what round was it again?
The 12th.
The 12.
The 12. Okay. He was already dropped. He was cut bad. And it was at this point, I was like, no, come on. But they want, I understand wanting him to let him go out on the shield, right? And finish the fight. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of boxers want to get to that point. But and as a trainer, damn, what do you
the
think
referee warned him and let him know, listen,
don't stop the fight.
Right now. You're getting hit a lot. You're getting hit a lot, and I'm not seeing you moving. And he was on the watch already. And I think that's the fight. He picked up. Vasily picked up a little bit. That actually, I was impressed. I mean, you can show the conditioning and the dedication that these guys had. It was like, I mean, he was completely. His face was like completely. He couldn't even breathe anymore. But he still made it to that 12th round, and that was a great victory for Japan. Very emotional. Backed. Japan's got a new champion now, so that's and they keep adding to the. They keep adding little by little. I mean,
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into it. So great points, and thanks for bringing that up as far as because the undercard was great. I know a lot of times I've been the card
hater
sector. Yeah, well, not hater. I love cards, but I mean when they're good. They're good. No, and this is definitely a good one. Right?
Last night, these two. This one was a good one as well.
This is definitely a good one. Thoughts on Figueroa Fulton? Hopper, you have the floor. No, I know that after this, we want to make sure that everybody listens up and turn up your value if you're listening. HCP in the house. This brother's got a rant that's going to melt your socks. So go ahead, Hopper. What's your thoughts on the fight? And then follow up with your rant. We're not going to even interrupt.
Well, to start off on the fight, Figueroa has that style. It's very similar to Vaquero. Navarrete, where he rushes in. And the punches come from all over the place, but it's not as polished as Vaquero Navarrete. I feel like there's a method to the madness that Vaquero throws. Every step, every punch comes in a certain angle. He doesn't take as many hits as Brandon does. Brandon Figueroa last night was catching a lot of punches from Fulton. Fulton was very sharp, very crisp. That jab, that 1-2 was up the middle. He kept catching Figueroa as he was trying to come in. But see, here's the thing with Fulton, though. He had great success towards the second half of the fight. He had great success early in the rounds, and then would totally just fall apart in the latter half of the round. And that's when Figueroa would come on really strong towards the end of each round. So that's why it kind of gives you the perception that, hey, this guy's winning a lot of the rounds just because on pure aggression, and it's due to the fact that it's at the end of the rounds. Fulton would always start off hot and then just taper off. His 1-2 jab wasn't there. And I think that's because of the pressure that Figueroa brings to you constantly.
So you thought he was being broken down?
He has a chin, just like Vaquero. You need to have that if you're going to go in there recklessly like that.
That's the thing about Figueroa. He forces you to fight. Figueroa
puts the pressure on you mentally.
And he drilled Fulton to the body a few times. He was plowing forward, drilling to the body. I mean, there's an additional extra.
He was catching him everywhere. He was just catching him every shot that Figueroa towards the second half of the rounds. They were doing heavy damage on Fulton, and he was raw quite a few times. It was very evident who was winning the rounds at that point, and then Fulton would be winning, and then just totally lose the momentum on the rounds.
Really,
and
what I was able to see was really fun ways to land some good crisp shots to Figueroa's head. Whenever he could find a second to let it go. I mean, he would find them, really good. So what I was able to see, man, I think Fulton did an amazing job in compared to what people were expecting him to do. To be honest, I was rooting for Figueroa when we were talking about it. And wow, were we wrong?
Well, I'm going into the fight.
I don't think we were wrong, Figueroa. I think he was on the bad end of a very questionable scorecard because one judge had it a draw and then the other two guys had it 8 rounds to 4. Or the other two judges had it 8
So
rounds.
that was
Which
my
is
question
ridiculous.
to you.
There's absolutely no way that Brandon Figueroa only won 4 rounds of that fight.
Okay.
That just doesn't make
So
sense.
that was the question: is the criticism about these judges that's happening?
And I think Figueroa edged the fight. I think he won the fight because
so you think Figueroa did win the fight? He did enough.
Yes. No, I gave Figueroa the fight.
Oh, so really? Not just a draw. You thought he won.
No, yes, I thought Figueroa won the fight. I even said it on Facebook after the fight. I shared a post that 116, 112 twice. I don't know about that. And then I said I thought Figueroa edged the fight just on pure effective aggression alone. Towards the end of each rounds, Figueroa was taking it. The momentum was clearly on his side. Fulton was struggling with the pressure and that Figueroa was always bringing. I think Fulton, just like we always say with Vaquero, it looks unorthodox, and you think you can time it until you're in the ring with it, and it's coming right at you nonstop, and that chin is holding up like you didn't expect it would, and that's you can see that Fulton was tired from it. So credit to Figueroa. I thought he fought his fight. He stuck to his game plan. He did something Teofimo didn't do, and so I gave the edge to Brandon Figueroa. I thought I think he definitely won more than 4 rounds. Twice on 2 scorecards. That's horrible. Donkeys of the week, man.
Well, I mean, 116, 112 twice, and then 114, 114. It's like 116, 112. You're not giving pretty much anything, and that's 2 judges, and that was the same thing that we did see when you look at the Teofimo one. I mean, one judge gave like really, what were you seeing on that fight to be able to judge that fight and say that you actually think that Teofimo had it 114 and then 113 Kambosos? Really? It's just so. I'm curious to watch the fight again, and maybe I'll see that what you're talking about, because one of the things that I'm hearing also as well throughout social media is that Fulton actually did win convincingly. So now I'm having mixed emotions what I'm reading and what I'm hearing.
No.
And so
he didn't win convincingly, brother. I'm sorry. I hate to disagree with you on that one, but no. Or whoever's saying that he won convincingly.
That was a BBC blog. I wrote that.
That's just not. I didn't see that. A convincingly won fight, you're dominating every round. You're dominating almost every second of every round. Or even if it's competitive, you can still win convincingly. Last night was competitively, and he did not win. I thought Figueroa gave the edge to Figueroa just on the sheer fact of the aggression, and Fulton towards the end would just fall apart. He'd have no answer for it.
But I mean, the scorecards are telling you that's convincingly, Hopper, based on what the judges are saying. So a lot of people agreed to what those 2 judges saw. 116, 112. That's
8-4. No, watch the fight again. I think you might.
I will. But what I'm saying is a lot of people agree with the judges' scorecards. I'm not saying on me. I'm saying
okay, but so do you think the judges always get it right? So you're a judge for that one. You're a judge.
All right, so let's get to some comments real quick. You got some comments. Here we go. So again, G Funky, the man, the myth, the legend. Figueroa won that fight. All right, great call, sir. So you got a point there. Chicano Prophet, my brother from another mother. He said, great fight. Shout out to him on the El Chile podcast. Puerto Rican Rum. I thought Figueroa won that super close fight. Super close. Right. Manny.
Super close.
All right, Puerto Rican Rum.
No, but see here, and here's the thing though. And then also that 6th round. Wow, a contender for round of the year. That was a hell of a round by both guys. So that round 6, and there was another one. I want to say it was the 11th or the 10th round.
The 10th round where he got
11th. Hurt, right? They asked him about the 10th round, but I remember telling myself, I don't think that was right. I think it was the 11th. But that was also a very excellent round by both guys.
Oh, awesome. Another comment here from Steven Ruiz. Figueroa fought his fight based on ring gentlemanship. Cool boy said, I'm going to go in and fight going backwards all night. All right, so yeah, nobody wants that.
Great point.
So also, Funky Fulton holding too much. That's what
he was doing towards the end of each round.
I did hear that. All right, he's that kind of guy. Puerto Rican Rum, G Funky. Salute.
And here's kind of what it's leading to the rant because of what happened in the other fights on this undercard as well, like the opening fight of the fight. Antoine Russell, Gary Russell Jr.'s brother, I believe. He had a fight with Alejandro Santiago, and yes, Russell started out very sharp as well, very sharp with the jab, but Santiago's body work was just amazing. I mean, I guarantee you, Russell right now or all day has been peeing blood because those body shots were.
I've been there before.
Oh my goodness. Yes, but yours was after leaving the bar. Oh no. No, but yes, see, and that's the that one was that was very close fight as well. One judge had it a draw, and the other two had it 96-94. A very close fight. Again, you know, the Santiago kind of fell short on the stick, and if you look at his career, he's had like this 5 draws, and a lot of those fights he should have won, and now I think that's his second loss, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Third loss. Sorry, it's his third loss. Everything's been very close with him. Did he do enough to win this fight against Antoine Russell? I think he did. I favor the body work in this fight, and it was a great fight, great tough fight. And I just can't ignore the fact that the body punching was in full effect for Santiago. Russell was pretty banged up towards the end of the fight. So another close, but this was a close fight, very close fight as well.
No, definitely. So, did you have another fight you want to comment on before you got into
the second one? The second one, that one was Salim against Eduardo Diaz. And even though Alim was getting tagged a lot with the overhand right, I felt he won the fight pretty comfortably. I don't think there was nothing controversial about this fight. Rais Salim was the only concerning thing about Rais is that if he wants to step up and elevate, challenge the elite guys in the division, you got to work on that defense. You're not going to be able to take shots from some of the top tier guys in that division, leaving yourself that open. So that's the only concerning thing about Rais Salim. But he won clear. It was a clear victory for Rais Salim, and then the main event with Figueroa and Fulton 8-4, just the 116-112, and it leads me to this, Gringo. Put yourself in the promotional position, right? You're in the promotional position, or put yourself, and then also think about the boxer's position, right? You're promoter, you're trying to sign this guy, and the boxer, from his perspective, this guy's coming at you trying to sign you. Why would anybody, if you're Mexican, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, Latino, why would you, based on the results last night and then something that we've seen previously, why would you want to sign with the PBC if you're not going to be getting the benefit of the doubt on a lot of the cards? Not only what just happened last night, but also you want to bring up the Jermell Charlo Brian Centeno fight. That one went very controversial too, a very controversial draw. I thought Jermell Charlo lost that fight. So, and it's I hope people don't misunderstand what I'm saying or put words in my mouth. But if you're a Latino, why would you go sign with the Premier Boxing Championships if you're going to be on the short end of the stick in a lot of the cards? I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I think it's just a question that you have to ask yourselves.
Well, in fairness, I know that last card was glaringly favored that way. Now, you also mentioned like a key marquee fight as well. Do you feel like that's consistently across the board? Do you feel like?
Well, I mean, if you look at it, I know I'm not the only person that's ever brought this up, because I've seen the whispers, or the in the back talk is it feels like the PBC at times uses the Hispanic community or to push over certain fighters, if you get what I'm saying, because and it's just it has this feel to it that doesn't really sit too well.
No, I mean, hey, I'll put it out there. I'm looking in the brother's seat and I'm thinking like, man, I can't see.
Castaño was robbed. Good job, Funky. G-Funk.
Yeah, shout out to G-Funky. And he was robbed as far as the sense that I felt like, and I think 70% of the people that are boxing fans that saw the fight would say that Castaño won that fight. By the way, I'm glad they have the rematch.
I'm glad too.
And now he's going into super dangerous territory, fighting in Jermell Charlo in Houston, You know you're
Yeah,
you're
but
already down.
still, you did it
round
once.
on
You
the
did it
scorecards.
once. You understand his areas. You did it once, right? And so you can come back and do it again. He is committed.
yeah.
He's not into the hype stuff about the fame like the Charlos are.
And
So-
it's
so I
just a question. It's just a question I'm proposing.
No, hey, we got some comments on that real quick. Let's get to them and appreciate that. Stephen Ruiz, shout out to our brother, man. Hopper says PBC haters. Oh wow, whoa!
He hates Hispanics.
You
I
heard it
didn't
here
quite say
first.
that. I didn't
Damn,
quite
brother.
say that, but I
Right,
just
no,
said,
no,
why
he
would you
doesn't.
consider
That's
signing
not
with
true.
the promotional
Yeah,
company?
he's noticed a trend. Is that fair to say with the promotion company as far as
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
right? All right.
Sean got hurt on that one, didn't you, Sean? I mean, the PVC.
Well, I didn't even read it. I didn't even read it all. All right, so Chicano Prophet, the man, good call, Hopper. I was eager to see how Al would arrange these. Man, bruh. All right, so
that's why
Teofimo's
Teofimo's father wanted to fight Top Rank so they can arrange and make it a draw or a win to his end. And last night, no.
G Funky, shout out to him, man. Sacktown's finest, Castano going for the KO. I think they're both going for the KO. I mean, if you're going for just to talk about not just the rant specifically of what my brother Hopper said, but I think that second fight, we'll talk about it in a separate video, is going to be fireworks. And I can't wait.
I'm expecting a big fight there. I'm expecting a big fight, but I'm expecting more from Charlo, if you ask me. I'm expecting a lot more.
Yeah, like he did with Tony Harrison. I think you're going to see the best version of him.
Beautiful comparison right there. They're Gringo.
Oh, I guess I got to read it. All right. Puerto Rican Rum says, shout out to you, brother. It's like pro wrestling. The Latinos are brought in to do the job and put over the PBC fighter.
That's a great comparison because the Mexicanos, they're gonna have that fan base. They're gonna tune in to watch the boxing. That's just it's what's passed down to everybody to tune in and watch the Mexicano fight. And then it does feel that way. You do get the certain feel of it. I'm not saying it. Maybe if I'm wrong, please educate me on the subject.
All right, so I got one example for you, all right? Because I got Al Heyman's picture and is looking down at me as I speak.
He's shaking his head at you.
Like,
defend me.
Say something. He's like, say something now. All right. Kind of going along with what you're saying. So there are some Latino fighters that benefit as far as your thought and identification, as far as like maybe the Mexican fan base, maybe get like a B-side guy that's got a potential opportunity. Okay, case in point, Leo Santa Cruz. What about that though? Because you always felt like he was the I don't use the word.
He was very protected though, if you think about it. And he had something money in the bank with Leo, and then they eventually fed him to tank at a higher weight division. And then maybe that's something what he wanted. Maybe Leo Santa Cruz this is what he wanted, and he got what they're turning it around on him. Well, we gave you what you wanted. So I knew you were going to bring that one up, Gringo, because I could read you like a book. So
I'm very transparent in that.
But Leo was very protected because he had that fan base, and I believe he was co-main event on Wilder Fury, the first one.
No, yeah, he was,
and it wasn't a stellar opponent or anything. It was
So
fight for Leo.
Okay, so here's the thing. So I think the reason I want to point that out is because with your thought process is, and I think is it just exclusively the PBC? We can look at big picture, but it's specifically as far as fighters are chosen on the B side to uplift other fighters if they have like that big Latino Mexican fan base. But you're saying from your observation that the PBC really pushes that narrative to make sure that they get that fan base, draw them in as far as interest, but at the same time,
I do. A case in point, Tank Davis, with Leo. And then now with it was Rolly Romero first, but stuff happened with him, and now it's Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and his name is pretty hot in the Mexican community as far as they're going to be tuning in to watch this fight. A lot of people don't feel he's ready, and I feel a lot of people feel that he's a little green, but no, not me. I think Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and we'll touch on it more once we get to our previews. I think he's going to put up a hell of a fight. And we'll touch more on that one, but that's another example.
Definitely. So
that's another example.
And I love the conversation.
Appetizer, right?
I think it is important. Right. Like, hey, nobody wants to ever be in a situation where they're being exploited and taken advantage of. I mean, this is a sport I love, man. I just want people to get a chance to get an opportunity. So, like, to what you're saying, your concern is that there's exclusive, enhanced exploitation. What do you think that your Latino fighters should do? Like, should they just avoid a PBC, or should they be cognizant of potential
just know that going in?
Or what's your
I mean, just know. No, and here's the thing. Maybe it's based off instant. He is underrated. I think a lot of guys are sleeping on that, and that's why they. No, I think just be cognizant of it. Just consider it. Just be open to it, and then I'm sure this is more based on emotion. I'm sure somebody will be able to point out, hey, look, this is what we've done for these guys. The figures that we paid, but they didn't turn out the way we wanted them to turn out. So maybe I know it's a complicated, more numbers sense. So just be cognizant of that. I know it kind of looks like with Golden Boy, Top Rank, and even Matchroom, they do a good job of building whoever is rightfully deserving. So yeah, I mean that's all I pretty much got to say about that.
No, man, it's good. Like I said, I know that that Mayweather made no bones about it, that he wanted to fight
on Cinco de Mayo and September.
Right. So I think it's a valid point, man. It's something that we definitely got to talk about. So we got some commentary I want to touch on. Chicano Prophet says, a cash cow has no race. Make a name for yourself, and Uncle Al will put the business first. I like that.
Yeah, I like that one.
Very much so. I agree with you, Chicano. Steven Ruiz, you got to do your homework, just like Arrow and told Oscar and Golden Boy. You don't treat black fighters well. Now I think that's more on the promotional side as far as fighters not being promoted. I always had issue with as far as them saying certain fighters that promoter aren't being promoted. And that was always the narrative as far as Golden Boy. They don't really promote black fighters. I know with rest in peace Trayvon Mazion, the Black Magic. I mean, he was a hell of a fighter, and Golden Boy did nothing with him. They have a lot of fighters that I don't feel like they do nothing with black and
that's true.
Hispanic. But I think, to me, I guess just the fighters they really push, they just tend to be Latino. So there's also that narrative too. I know for me, I've kind of always felt that.
Blair the Flair Cobbs gets a pretty good push.
Yeah. No, again, that's what I'm saying. It's all about going back to this comment. If you got the skills, they're gonna put you out there.
Yeah, they're gonna put you on.
They're gonna put you on there. But I think you bring up a valid point, man. Nobody wants to be exploited, so I love that. Good stuff there. So we'll just go ahead and do a quick thoughts as far as I know we put it out there on our holiday special, but what do you guys think about Haney Diaz? And then we'll go ahead and do final thoughts and get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
Just real quick, Haney Diaz.
Well, what do you think? With the state of the 135, it makes it more interesting now. People,
it's
because the other part, a quarter part of what's left at the 135, Haney owns that. So I think it makes sense rather than doing a rematch with Lopez, which he doesn't really care about it. And I think Kambosos will be strategic in the way he moves his career moving forward, is to go all in for the undisputed. As a matter of fact, Kambosos says, I'll be there in that fight. So I want to watch that. Very interesting. Now, to the point of the match itself, this is going to be a very tough fight for Haney. It's going to be a big test. Although JoJo wasn't really good in the last fight. He's looked a little sloppy. He's been all over the place because of the weight or not. Hopefully 135, it is what it is, and he can give us excitement what he did in the 130s. Devin Haney needs to prove it. Needs to prove that, I own that WBC. It was given away from me, but I've deserved it right now. And all of a sudden, now you got a great opportunity to be undisputed if he beats JoJo Diaz. I like the fight. Thanks, Haney.
No, I definitely like the fight too, man. I think it's a real good fight, and I've been watching JoJo Diaz forever, man. He's in the the Olympics, and I know that he took it really hard when he lost 2018 when he lost to Gary Russell Jr. and at UD, and he was kind of dominated, and he went through a tough time, but he's bounced back. He's remade himself. He had a real big win with Tevin Farmer. The last fight he had with Fortuna. I thought he looked good. I know that Manny was saying he looked kind of sloppy, but I thought he did enough to win, and he showed me a lot. I like his inside fighting. The thing is that kind of concerns me. I don't think he has enough pop, But right. I mean, with Devin Haney, do you really need that much? That's what I'm saying. Like I would lean Devin Haney because I believe he's the better boxer, and I think that the inside fighting, I'll go JoJo Diaz. I think he has a better inside game. But, I think Devin Haney is going to be able to keep me on the outside and outbox him. But that's the thing, with Devin Haney being, chinny, and he did get caught against Leonarez. I think that does, propose an opportunity there for JoJo Diaz. I wouldn't be surprised by the upset. In fact, I was kind of leaning towards that possibility, but I just can't see another. Could you imagine you're gonna have Kambosos versus JoJo Diaz in Australia for undisputed? Man, talk about 135, totally crazy. So I'm not ready to go there yet. But I will say that I think it's going to be very close. I see it 7-5 pointed out by Devin Haney. I think he's going to use his boxing at the end and play smart and not get on the inside too much. But JoJo Diaz, I think, is going to have a hell of a performance, and I think very highly of him. Hopper, last word on that fight, then we'll close this bad boy out.
Yeah, no, I'm going to – JoJo's my boy. Huge fan of JoJo Diaz. As you touched on the fight against Gary Russell Jr., he just Gary Russell Jr. is just on a little higher level than JoJo, which is nothing bad. I've always held Mr. Gary Russell in very high regard. I'm going to give the edge to Devin Haney. I'm going to go 8-4, very comfortable decision over JoJo. I can't see JoJo catching him like Linares did. I think Linares was a little more slick, a little more skillful in terms of setting up that punch. Not a knock on JoJo. It's just I think Linares is arguably a Hall of Famer when he retires. So I think Devin's just a little too slick, a little too fast, a little too younger, a little sharper for JoJo. But the undercard's gonna be pretty good. Ammo Williams is on there. Jessica McCaskill, she's fighting. So the heavy Filippo Horgovich, if I pronounce his name, he's on it as well. So it's gonna be a good fight.
No, definitely. Like our brother Manny said and alluded to, the chessboard has shifted so much. I mean, the interest is going to be whatever the viewership was going to be. It's like double that. Especially just from the fans of Australia alone.
Yeah,
I'm definitely excited for that one. So definitely can't wait. And shout out to our brother G Funky, great show, gentlemen. HCP. Manny, I don't know if you're available right now. Did you have any final thoughts before we go ahead and close this thing out? Final thoughts, Manny.
Man, I mean, exciting weekend. Boxing keeps getting better and better. I think we're going to close with a boom, and I think next week would be one of those booms. I think we're going to have a lot of news before the end of the year, especially whatever happens next week. I am expecting Devin Haney to win. I totally agree with Hopper, JoJo Diaz. It is a very strong boxer, very good. I think he has still a lot to prove at the 135. Hopefully he can do the same thing, has got power translating into 135, now with the top elite boxer. I think Haney is there, so I do expect to see him shine, do expect to see him really good. And, hey, 2022, it's going to start with a lot of news with a bang, and I'm pretty excited about that and see what translates later on. Everything is just shook around. Like the 135 is not what it is. You got Ryan Garcia throwing smack right now after his surgery. I think the anesthesia is still killing him right now from that surgery he had. He wants to fight Kambosos. Everyone wants to fight Kambosos. Everyone wants to pick him now. Come on. I get what way you turn. He wants to be undisputed, and I think he will. And Eddie Hearn is going to make that fight. You know where? In Australia.
Nice.
Man, that's awesome. So I would just say, thank you for everybody. G Funky, Puerto Rican Rum, Stephen Ruiz, Chicano Prophet.
Thank you guys.
Miss Denise, Miss Denise today. All right, we shout out her anyway. We don't care. We love her. Aaron from Standing 8. Cano Local Sports in the house.
Cano.
Everybody, Cord, the hardest working man on YouTube, Clarence McLean, the Standing Duck podcast, and everybody else is going to watch the replay. We thank you guys so much. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll check you next Sunday.
Hold on, Gringo. Let me give my final thought on this.
Oh, you got final thought for him, bro.
Yeah, let me get the final thought on this, man. We just finished a great boxing weekend with some multiple fights on Saturday night. Next week, it gets even better. We're gonna have, we're gonna do the where we're treated to an afternoon special with Anthony Yard and Lyndon Arthur, part 2. That's gonna be next Saturday as well. So we're treated to afternoon boxing, take a little break, then watch Devin Haney, JoJo Diaz at night. And then the next day, we have Tank Davis and Isaac Cruz. Man.
Pitbull.
It's going to be great. Awesome, man. Great stuff. So, good stuff, brothers. See y'all guys next week. Peace.
Adios.